So the thing that everyone has been talking about for the past 2 weeks have been the Dave Chappelle clip, and I didn't watch the whole show or pay attention to the whole one. And I love Dave Chappelle. I really, really, really think he is one of the greatest comedians of all time. I think that he's an amazing, amazing storyteller. Almost bar none. There are very few people that can really give it up like Dave Chappelle. But I've seen a lot of the critiques. I've seen the things from the trans community. And if you're looking for a hot take from me, my take is I'm still learning and I don't know enough. And sometimes it's okay to just say when you really don't know enough, I'm still learning.
Did Portia just plead the fifth on us?
And I don't know enough. So there are hills that people are willing to die on. This ain't one of mine. I just don't know enough. I can't tell people about their experiences. I haven't watched the full special. I watched halfway through because I fell asleep because I have to wake up for work at 4 a.m. And yes. And so I didn't see the whole thing, but I know that if they're feeling like misunderstood, then you do have to take a moment and listen to that. I think that if people are feeling like they're not being seen, I do think that you have to take a moment and listen to that. There's this thing that my mentor used to always say that you'll hear me say a lot on the pod. She always says, don't save me, see me. Don't save me, see me. If you just see me, you'll realize that you don't have to save me.
Ooh, that's a bar.
That's a word.
So if you just see everything that I am, so I think about those people that are looking for a different job. I think about those people who, are in their marriage and they're like, he just does not see me, right? So busy trying to save that if you just take a moment and look and really just look and listen to what someone is saying and you see them, you will realize that they don't need to be saved because that's probably not what they're asking for, right? And so I just feel like that applies to this situation. You know what I mean? That this community is saying, see me, see me, see me. And we know from we're black. Everyone in this room is black. We know what it's like when people don't see you and they're just trying to give you something or just trying to save you or just trying to shut you up. So I know I like to approach things like that. So for me, if I don't know enough about a situation, I'm not going to give you a hot take. I feel like the hottest take I can give you is to say, I don't know enough, right? I can't tell people how to think or how to feel, but I can tell you that I'm listening and I'm learning and I have friends, but my friends may have a different experience, than other people that are going through this same thing. And I think that Dave Chappelle, what we do know about Dave Chappelle is that he generally always has this, he always comes back to this overarching point that a lot of people will miss. And if I go back and look, I will almost bet there is one in there. Now, whether you agree with his overarching theme, I can't say because I didn't pay attention to it. All right. I told you I didn't watch the whole thing. And I love him, Oh, I shouldn't say this one. But one of his greatest skits to me is he rapes, but he saves. But he saves more than he rapes. I just think that the way he did that was crazy. He took a very, 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 very controversial, subject or something that we all hate together. We're all disgusted by rape and paired it. That's a very hard thing to do. That's a very hard thing to do to make people laugh about things like that. So I will almost bet there's another point, but that doesn't negate the fact that if he hurt people, that you should listen. You know what I mean? What is y'all takes? Marty?
Ooh, not Marty, because I'm gonna turn it up.
It was the not Marty.
This is God telling me, bro, don't turn it up. Turn down.
He got to
turn down for what?
Turn down a little bit, my guy. But no, out of respect for.
Sometimes you just gotta.
That's gonna rock out behind me. But what I will say is the Dave Chappelle situation. For me, I understand Dave Chappelle, but what I think. I agree with you, Portia. I think we're looking at this and not understanding the type of comedian that Dave Chappelle has been for decades now. And also, he never, I feel like his jokes offended them. And for me, it's okay, this is your third Netflix special. And your third Netflix special, you're dealing with the same backlash after 3 specials, bro. But at the same time, I kind of think back, I was like, Dave Chappelle is a very like work smart over hard. So it's like maybe when Netflix agreed to give him 3 specials, he wrote 1 special 3 ways.
Yeah.
So I was like, literally, I see that being the case, and I was like, now if this 4th special comes out or another tour comes out, and he's like, you know, still harping on the trans community, I'm like, come on, bro, like you're better than that. Like you have like multiple angles that I've seen you go at. So the fact that you kind of like harp on them, because I've seen 2 of the 3 specials, and I'm not going to lie, I think I definitely kikied at a lot of them trans jokes. But it's like I kiki at the black jokes. I kiki at the jokes about men. I mean,
that's what a comedian is supposed to do.
And that's kind of what my thing is, and my outlook on Dave Chappelle is like he's doing his job. It's like nobody cancels a white comedian when they clown black people. Like nobody cancels black people when we clown the, you know, I don't know, the 1990s white voice was like, you know, that's phased out. But like, you know, the little dorky kid, like nobody really trips. Nobody has ever tripped on any any type of women slander that any comedian has ever said. So I'm just like,
they let Gary Owens keep.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we got some people who like, if we gonna cancel bruh for this, it's like let's put a lot of people in the guillotine. And I feel like that's a part of cancel culture that I think he's fighting back against. Is like, y'all really pick and choose when y'all want to be like
that was the
hard.
Overarching message. That's what the whole. I think each of his specials, you're right, and he's trying to get people to see that same message. Like, do you see that there's an issue with the way we're picking and deciding what to be mad at?
Yeah.
Like, all of this is wrong. Don't y'all see that? And it's difficult.
Yeah, even in the 2nd special, I remember he like prefaced one of his jokes of like, you know, I love the LGBTQ community, but he was like, y'all can't even lie. If you're being honest with yourself, being a man or a woman stuck inside of another, he's like, that's a very comedic situation. He's like, those jokes write themselves. He's like, my bad. He's like, y'all mad at me for telling them, but he was like, bruh, come on. He's like, how could I not? And I'm just like, I think that I don't believe in censoring comedians. I have to keep it 100 with 100%.
You. So it doesn't matter whether they're coming at women, what they're coming at. I believe that comedians really push it forward. I don't believe in censoring comedians. You'll rarely hear me say, I don't really know if I feel like my line, honestly, for the only line that I have is probably like literally my line in life is talking about touching kids. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, that's
like if that, like to me,
that's twisted.
That's it's like, it's one thing if we're talking about an R. Kelly joke, right? But as long as that, like, you know, just anything with kids is not funny to me. You know what I mean? Like, not anything with kids, but y'all get what I'm saying, like child molestation. Like that's not really my laughter dwelling in that.
That's not a humor.
But I also don't hear comedians talk about that because like nobody really finds that funny.
Actually,
you know what I'm saying?
True. That's not true. Aziz Ansari, one of his first stand-ups, he does a whole skit about how he was a sexy child and that pedophiles like would get nervous talking to him, like a girl, like a guy going up to a girl. He said, yeah, pedophiles, I would walk in and be like, hey, and they would be like, oh my God, it's Aziz. His entire like half of his set is about pedophilia.
Oh, he did it too?
I was gonna say, I feel like both of those.
Chappelle did one of his specials.
Yeah.
Netflix specials.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. Like,
I feel like if you do that, you have to, like, it has to be a self-centered thing. Like, it's gotta be like, I was a kid.
Yeah.
It can't be like, you got
like
a fine ass little daughter.
Yeah, like you can't
nah.
be over here talking about some little fine ass daughter. That's weird too. That's weird. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not talking about like self-deprecating jokes that you exaggerated, stuff like that. Like, that's what you're supposed to do as a comedian. But other than that, I really don't have, like, comedians, I let them fly. Like, when they target black women, you kind of got to let it fly. Like, you'll rarely hear me say anything about canceling a comedian. I've never canceled a comedian in my life.
But I told y'all on the last pod that you don't want to go to war with LGBTQ PR. Like, you going to lose that battle even if you won. Like, it's like they're going to find a way to put them words together to be like.
But you know, it took some time for them to be there, to get there.
To get organized.
So I love how strong they are now. You know what I mean? Because it's well deserved. It's kind of like black people. It took us forever to get there. So now we just firing people off your tweets. You fired from one tweet. Karen is gone. That little bird girl, we found her job. It was out of here. Her job was like, oh, listen, you do good work, but not enough, not for us to get harassed by black people every day.
It's always that HR message. Our company does not align with these values. We are for diversity and inclusion and have a safe work.
Let me tell you something. That's a lie.
I was like, Ava done got that email before.
They be lying. I just want y'all to know that. And y'all need to stop saying that. You know, I don't know, but what's the alternative, right? Do we want to hear in the writing, Yeah, so we're not with none of that diversity shit. Quite honestly, we only gonna support white men, period. So if you come here, just know you a secondary slave, and that's on that.
And that shows in they company.
Bro, I
members.
responded to that email pretty, like, you know, I work here. So it's like, if I read this email and I still come into work, it's like, you know, hey, bro, just make sure them checks clear. Like, them checks clear. Like,
Can you imagine, though, like, and you just, like, you still show up the next day?
Cause that's
just chilling. What's up,
Trump,
Todd?
If Trump heading your HR department, that's the email you getting. Like, hey, bro, go back to your shithole company that you used to work for. Like, cause we don't do that shit around here. We don't care about women's, blacks, none of that.
None of that shit.
None
We
of
just
that.
want you to know.
We here to
this
make
how
bread.
We promoting. We staying that way. We keeping it like back.
We
the famous painting. The famous biblical painting at the dinner table.
Oh, the Last Supper?
The Last Supper painting. They're going to be like, yeah, you see all these white people? Yeah. This how we